Previously on Ace Attorney.
Wait, are you accusing Professor Means? That's insane! I mean, he's the one who gave me the tape recorder. Take this to the police, he said, and tell them you found it. What? Really? Wait a second? Mr. O'Connor, did you just say that Professor Means gave that phony recording to you?
Phony? The defense will refrain from hurling unsubstantiated allegations.
Well, I said he gave it to me, but what do you mean it's phony? Wow, who could have seen this development?
I could! I've been saying it all along. I've been saying it since the very first episode.
Hello, I'm Unca Crunk. Welcome back to Ace Attorney, where we are about to bring Professor Means to the stand to finally get him to answer for his crime.
Will you please state your name and occupation for the record?
Certainly, I am Aristotle Means. I teach the lawyer course at Phoenix Legal Academy, and let me add that while I welcome any opportunity to assist with the trial, I don't care for this undue suspicion. Don't worry, Professor. We're just interested in the mock trial video right now. We just need to take another look at that speech you gave. Can we count on your cooperation in this? Very well. If that's all you're interested in, please proceed, Ms. Sykes. We need to find some sort of evidence that shows this speech was pre-recorded.
All right, I believe we're ready. Let's roll the video.
Good afternoon. I would like to start by thanking you for coming here today. The mock trial, the crown jewel event of the school festival, will begin shortly. When I was a student, I too could hardly wait for this day to come. Oh no, I've forgotten how long and boring this speech was. Wake me up once this is over. Hey, no fair! The experiences of our youth have a powerful and profound effect on our adult. Oh, you there, wake up, pay attention! Huh? I'm awake, isn't that right, Your Honor?
I'm awake too. Wide awake, see?
Once again, our pure white lady justice will be watching over all of you today. Wait, what? She's not white, she's gold. Pay attention and you may make a difference one day. Now, let the mock trial begin. That would have been more impressive if they had ever actually advanced the timer in the top right. That is about it. One of my better speeches, if I do say so myself. I even saw some of our students with tears in their eyes. He's obviously not familiar with the phrase, bored to tears. Listen, Sextono, if you have subjected me to this epic study in tedium without purpose, Taka will feast on your tongue after I've cut it out. Dang it! You were asleep the whole time.
Well, Miss Sykes, did you notice anything strange about that speech?
Yes, I did. Could I please hear that last part again? Once again, our pure white lady justice will be watching over all of you today.
Hold it!
I didn't even have to point it out. There, I finally found what we need. Professor Means, I have only one question about your speech. Why does that last part we just heard contradict with this? Oh, I do have to point it out. Okay. but it's extremely obvious.
Take that!
The professor said the pure white Lady Justice would be watching over them. But the Lady Justice in the video isn't even close to being white. It's as gold can be.
I'm not sure I can wrap my jaw around that to test its authenticity.
I didn't say it was made of gold, Your Honor. Now, it's true that this statue is pure white, but it broke before the mock trial began. The one you see here is its replacement.
Oh, well, that's a shame on every count.
Ironically, this golden statue sticks out like a sore thumb compared to the white one, meaning the professor wouldn't have made a mistake in his color if he'd been present.
It seems that I have caused some confusion, but it was merely an oversight on my part.
Objection!
The statue was in the middle of the room. How could you not know what it looked like?
Well, I was in a balcony seat. Furthermore, the statue had previously been white. I'm afraid this isn't sufficient evidence of the speech being pre-recorded. Pre-written, yes, but not pre-recorded. We had our answer long ago. The accused was the only one to leave the lecture hall.
No, wait. There's got to be something that can prove that the speech was pre-recorded. According to the mock trial video, the speech started here and ended here. It's a little over 10 minutes, but I doubt anyone wants to be tortured again. It was only a little over 10 minutes? Felt like it went on forever. How'd you figure out how long it was? Easy. There's a timestamp at the top right. All you have to do is subtract the time the speech started from the time it ended. The speech goes from the 10-minute mark to 20:35. Wait a second. I could swear I've seen this same interval of time listed among the evidence. What? Maybe there's a way for me to use the speech time to show that it was pre-recorded. Let's see. Nope. And I can't examine it. Let's see. Perfect match. Oh, there it is. Note number 2, the tape has about 10 minutes, 35 seconds of noise requiring further testing. Okay, go.
Take that!
I would like the court to take a look at this.
And this is...
The voice print analysis that proves the voice on the tape recorder belongs to our client.
Yes, but didn't we just establish that the voice on the tape recorder was a fabrication?
We did, but what I'd like to focus on is the noise that is also there.
Noise?
Yes, the defense believes it resulted when the tape's previous recording was erased.
And what do you hope to prove by that?
The length of the noise is what's important. It's 10 minutes and 35 seconds in all. And what did the timestamp read at the time Professor Means began his speech?
That would be exactly 10 o'clock. Or 10 minutes, I mean.
Now, let's fast forward this long-winded exercise in boredom to the end. Okay, stop. The video timestamp now reads 20:35. Based on this, we know the time it took for the speech alone.
Right, so subtract 10 minutes and you get 10:35. 10 minutes and 35 seconds?
Right, 10 minutes and 35 seconds. The same as the noise on the tape recording. I assume you all understand what this means. Professor means pre-recorded speech had been where the noise is now.
Silence!
You seem rather confident, considering this is a mere happenstance match of numbers.
Objection!
But is it really just numbers? The lab is continuing their study of the tape. So far, they found signs of overdubbing. But it's going to take a bit longer to recover the audio that was erased. The police are analyzing the noise as we speak. It won't be long until we know what was originally there. Now I'm sure of it. The professor was trying to create an alibi with the recording by pinning the crime on Junie. Well, he's not going to get away with it. Not on my watch.
Ms. Six, I believe you are well aware of my methodology. Even if Juniper were the perpetrator, I would vigorously defend her as per my word. And to that purpose, I offered to be her lawyer. Alas, look what's happened.
All I've stated are obvious deductions derived from evidence and testimony.
Truth be told, I had no intention of testifying. I had been keeping quiet for Juniper's sake. But now that you cast this blame upon me, I have no choice but to reveal the truth.
Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good.
I will now reveal the truth behind why I had to pre-record my speech before the mock trial.
Ow. Okay. So he's admitting to that part at least.
I, Professor Means, always say what I mean and mean what I say by all means.
Witness testimony.
Professor Means' testimony. The defendant came to me with what she said was very important and by necessity secret. She asked me to pre-record my speech and come to the audio room during the mock trial. Juniper confessed to the murder and asked that I get her declared innocent in court. She also said I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi due to the pre-recording. But when I said I would protect Juniper, I meant it because it's the humane thing to do.
Really?
Oh my, so you're saying the defendant threatened you?
This has to be a lie. I mean, everything about it lines up too perfectly to be true.
On this most consequential of occasions, let me be completely frank with you.
Thought your name was Aristotle.
Juniper has truly taken to heart my teaching that states the end justifies the means.
I don't believe you.
When she asked me to defend her, she said I must also prove her two friends innocent. Her two friends? The witnesses? Correct. Hugh O'Connor and Robin Newman. I was to ensure all three walked free. All three were to achieve their dream. That was the result Juniper was seeking. And she was even willing to threaten me, her own professor, to that end. You no doubt had high praise for her ruthless tactics. Yes, well, that is why I vowed to vigorously defend her despite her threatening me. There was a time when lawyers merely sought the truth if they wished for victory in court. But alas, those days are over. Now, in the defense of justice, order, and all that is good, the end justifies the means.
I am so sick of hearing that phrase.
Though it truly grieves me so, I must tell you this. Forsake the truth if it's victory you seek. Steel yourself for this new courtroom reality.
That does it. He's going to regret dragging those dismal, depressing ideas in here. Since he's already surrendered to the dark age of the law, it's up to me to fight it.
Why so silent, Sykes? Dunno. Something the matter?
This is a court of law. It's no place for long-winded talks about idealistic principles. That's why I'm going to let the evidence do the talking.
Let's not get carried away now, Ms. Sykes. It will not do to have you attempting to discredit my doctrine. Do not force me to rectify this situation.
Now go ahead and rectify it. Only if I lose and you win, that is. Cross-examination, start.
The defendant came to me with what she said was very important and by necessity secret.
Hold it!
I doubt our client would come to you with something like that.
You have a point there. If only Professor Court had been alive, I suspect Juniper would have gone to her instead.
So, our client came to talk to you after Professor Court was dead.
Let's go through this step by step, shall we? First, Juniper came to me that day. She asked me to pre-record my speech and come to the audio room during the mock trial.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting it was our client who told you to fake an alibi?
You have every reason to be surprised. I, too, was shocked when she told me that. Simply put, Juniper has a secret that she wished to protect that badly.
Is he kidding me? That lie couldn't be further from the truth. The problem is, how am I going to expose it?
It was an earnest request from an outstanding student. How could I possibly have refused? Juniper confessed to the murder and asked that I get her declared innocent in court.
Hold it!
Did you consider that a threat?
Yes, but it's now you to whom she has passed her demands on to. Ms. Sykes, you must realize that you, too, are being used by Juniper.
What?
Your Honor, I ask that you, too, do not let her feigned weakness and innocence fool you. Juniper Woods is quite clever and extremely tough. And perhaps most important of all, she is a fervent follower of my teachings.
Objection!
Your Honor! The witness's testimony is nothing but an attack on our client's character.
Very well, objection sustained. So be it. Nevertheless, the fact that she threatened me is immutable. She also said I'd become an accomplice after losing my alibi due to the pre-recording.
Hold it!
How could you overlook such a threat? As a teacher, it's your duty to discipline students.
Yes, well, perhaps I do have some serious reflection to do on this matter. I suppose it was just wishful thinking on my part. I wanted to believe that Juniper hadn't actually committed murder and that she hadn't meant to threaten me. Really? Please do explain. Long had I waited for a student who would embody my teachings. Does the witness realize what he is saying? Surely you must see the true meaning in my words. I am merely staying true to what I teach,
and my methods are but a reflection of the times. Oh, wow. His way of thinking is really warped, but I haven't heard any inconsistencies yet. I wouldn't be so sure. Really? The more he tries to avoid logical inconsistencies in his testimony, the more likely we'll see inconsistencies between his actions and words.
It is a dark age in which we live, and there is much I would like to say on the matter. But when I said I would protect Juniper, I meant it, because it's the humane thing to do.
Hold it!
You were trying to protect our client. Yeah, right. You'll say anything to pin the blame on Junie.
What a frightful look! I would ask that you not glare at me so. I've nothing but admiration for how Juniper was willing to go as far as to threaten me. That is why I am protecting her by any means possible. She has been a model student.
Liar! You're trying to pin the blame on her. How am I going to show that what he's saying isn't what he's really thinking?
You cannot possibly overturn my claims, so isn't it about time you admitted defeat? After all, if my unassailable logic is not truth, then what is?
If he thinks I'm going to give in to his pack of lies, he's got another thing coming. I'm going to find a hole in his story if it's the last thing I do.
Even though he's rotten to the core, he's a total pro. I mean, that all made perfect sense.
Yeah, but you can't believe a word he says. He's making this up as he goes along. He'll trip up on his own words yet. Time to see how consistently the professor's testimony matches up with his actual actions.
Okay, let's see.
All right, now what do I present? Right, the tape recorder.
Objection!
So let me get this straight. You were trying to help Miss Woods. Huh, that's nothing more than a bald-faced lie. No offense, Your Honor.
Such defamation of my character and your hair follicles, Your Honor. It is an outrage. Miss Suggs will clarify her statement, but leave my hair follicles out of it this time. Also, my face is very clearly not bald.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. Lovely beard you have. Now, please take a look at this. The witness gave this tape to Mr. O'Connor. Then he slyly whispered, "Take this to the police and tell them you found it."
There was no whispering, slyly or otherwise, involved. I simply did that out of kindness.
Objection!
The tape contained our client's voice. In short, it is incredibly damaging evidence. Why would it even exist if the witness wasn't trying to pin the murder on our client? They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but not yours. You never had good intentions, only lies to protect yourself while blaming another. You, Professor, are the embodiment of the dark age of the law.
Why, you dare call my teachings and methods lies?
The what? Excuse me? What?
Themis Legal Academy is a proud institution. It's the most powerful in the world. You'll never forget what true education and lawyering means once I'm through with you.
Professor Means? What's with your hair?
Quiet! No talking in class.
Ah!
eyes and ears up here, everyone. Homeroom is now in session. We will begin with roll call. Athena 6.
Huh? Oh, here?
Apollo Justice.
I'm fine. I mean, here.
Fool! The proper response is here without any extraneous information.
Ah! I mean, here.
Next, Your Honor. Here. See, class, that's the proper way to answer. Simon Blackwell. I said Simon Blackquill. Are you here or not?
There's always one, isn't there?
Well, then I'll just mark you absent. Now, get out of my class this instant.
Get out. Very well, if that is your wish. Who am I to defy my homeroom teacher?
Is that such a good idea? Prosecutor Blackwell is free of his shackles.
It just so happens I was a member of my high school's disciplinarian committee. What is that really so shocking?
Constabulary lapdog to teacher's pet. What a malleable mutt you are, fool bright. Very good, very good, Bobby. You just earned a gold star and a promotion to head disciplinarian. All right, class is now in session.
Why do I have the sudden urge to go to the nurse's office with a stomachache?
Pay attention. I am not the killer. Juniper is. This will be on the next test, so you had better be listening.
Objection!
But Professor, you created the phony tape to pin the blame on Juniper. Plus, you were the only one who could have moved the body during the mock trial.
Athena, you disappoint me so. To think you would label me a murderer. Now pay attention. The murder occurred on the 23rd between 6 and 8 p.m. But I was already at home by that time. So how could I have been involved in this crime?
Objection!
Professor Means, can you really prove that you had already gone home by that time?
Can you prove that I was still at school?
No, I can't.
So you admit it. Well, you just earned extra credit for your honesty. But you have also earned yourself lavatory cleaning duties until you graduate.
Damn, dude! I do enough of that at the office.
No way, man! I totally object!
Robin? I can't believe I fell for the Professor's silver tongue lies.
Why, how dare you talk about your teacher like that? I'm not listening to you here anymore, man. No way, no how. Now, I have a confession to make. You know those 2 statues that were on stage? I didn't make them all by myself.
The statues on stage? Do I want to know where this is headed? I was able to finish one of them, but the last bell rang before I had time for the other one. So, I asked Professor Means to make it for me. In other words, the professor was there on the stage after the last bell? Right. And it would have been way past 7 p.m. before he could have finished.
Professor Means was still at school? This is incredibly important testimony.
Well, remember how I said that from that photograph there was no way she could have finished that statue? Or something to that effect? The professor told me I'll take care of it. I thought my parents would let me be an artist if I said I made both statues myself.
I'm so sorry for not telling the truth.
Robin.
Quick, somebody get this juvenile delinquent out of my sight. Simon, you're head honcho among the delinquents. Do something. Blah! And who's in charge of the class pets around here?
Not interested. But if you want a class in swordsmanship, I'm your man. Of course, only real blades will do.
No swords at school. All weapons will be confiscated. Nurse! Where's a school nurse when you need one?
It would seem Sykes-Stono seeks a showdown, Professor. In which case, you would do well to draw your staff quick as lightning.
Very well. Then I will just have to prove my innocence myself. The real lessons begin in second period. Prepare to be served old school style.
What is that? Oh, never mind. Your testimony, please. Witness testimony.
Professor means work of art. Now pay attention. Robin took over half a day to complete one statue. I, however, finished most of the other statue between 7 and 8:30 p.m. The defendant Juniper saw the two statues with her own eyes at 8:30 p.m. Completing a statue so quickly meant I could not leave the stage for a single second. How could I have possibly had the time to go to the art room and commit murder?
You're saying the defendant saw the finished statues?
Precisely. She said so herself at the detention center yesterday. Her defense team was there and heard her say so too. Don't try to deny it now.
That evening, I went back to my dressing room to get something I'd forgotten there. It was well after the last bell rang. I'd say maybe around 8:30. That's when I noticed that both stage statues were finished. They were quite large, and they were each covered with a white sheet, but I could tell.
Covered with sheets.
Oh, right, the professor was there when that matter came up.
Before I address the professor's charges, I have a question for Robin. How hard would it be to complete a statue like that in 1.5 hours?
It would probably take me at least twice as long. So personally, I think it would be incredibly difficult to finish in that short a time.
That didn't exactly up our case.
But he won't get off that easy. He's bound to stumble over his own slippery means.
Cross-examination, start.
Now pay attention. Robin took over half a day to complete one statue.
Hold it!
Miss Newman took over half a day. Can you please be a little more precise than that?
What a wonderful question. She was having quite a tough time, you see. Prosecutor Gavin's statue alone took her from the morning hours into the evening.
Well, it is a rather large statue after all.
Don't be silly. It merely exposes the difference between student and teacher. I, however, finished most of the other statue between 7 and 8:30 p.m.
Hold it!
Most of the other statue? What exactly does that mean?
Robin created the basic outline of Mr. Wright's statue before the last bell rang. I, in turn, completed the rest of it.
I see. In academics as well as art, learning the basics is incredibly important. In short, you skipped the most important part of the statue making, didn't you?
Why, you insolent little! It is the practical applications built upon the basics that take so much time. Professors such as I mastered the basics a long time ago.
unlike Ms. Fancy Pants there, who lacks all lawyerly fundamentals.
No, quiet, you.
Now do you understand? I did not leave that stage until I was done.
Well, Miss Sykes, do you accept the witness's claim?
Not on your life, Buster. No, I don't. I know there's more to this, and I won't stop until the truth comes out.
The more you struggle, the more you sink, like so much legal quicksand, so to speak. I used the world's ultimate technique to complete the statue by 8:30 p.m.
Good enough for government work? Covered it up with a sheet.
The defendant Juniper saw the two statues with her own eyes at 8:30 p.m.
Hold it!
Maybe our client only thought she saw the statues. They were under shade.
Silence.
A pity for you, but we have already confirmed it with the accused. She is on record as having seen both statues.
Yeah, that's true. Just thought I'd give it a shot.
I have the ultimate in courtroom techniques. It is absolutely airtight. I will bury you. This will be your final resting place, along with all who believed in you.
Is there no way to get to this guy?
You better pay attention. Pay very close attention. Completing a statue so quickly meant I could not leave the stage for a single second.
Hold it!
Why were you in such a hurry?
In the legal world, your body is your capital. The early bird gets the worm. That's why I get to bed at 9 p.m. each and every night. And that's why I was working as fast as I could. I didn't want to miss my bedtime. Ah! Well, ready to concede that I never left the stage.
Well, Miss Sykes, do you accept the witness's claim?
Absolutely fragging not. I know there's more to this, and I won't stop.
I'd be careful, Athena. If you don't have anything, it's probably best to just grin and bear it for now until you find something to nail him with.
But death!
When will you cease this nonsense? I am quite busy today, as I was the night of the crime. How could I have possibly had the time to go to the art room and commit murder?
Hold it!
Yeah, but you could have taken a short break or something.
Preposterous! I didn't even have 10 minutes to spare, not even 5 for a visit to the lavatory. Let me ask you, Your Honor, do you find anything wrong with my claim?
So far, it appears that your statue making was quite a difficult chore. And I'd say nothing that could overturn your claim that you never left the stage.
Ah! But the art room is only a few steps away.
What's the plan? All I can think of is pressing him like crazy.
That's all I can think of, too. We'll just have to seek out a hole to exploit.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's see.
Hold it!
I think I'm supposed to accept one of his claims. So I'm just going to, let's see. Early bird gets the worm, get in bed by 9 p.m. Didn't want to miss my bedtime. Well, let's see what happens.
I've tried everything, but I still can't prove anything. I guess I concede.
I couldn't hear you. Say it louder this time.
I concede that Professor Means never left the stage.
That's right, but what took you so long? I was there at the stage the entire time. I couldn't possibly have committed that crime.
I'm not gonna give up here.
I'm afraid I have to side with the witness, Miss Sykes. And unless you have any further objections, I'll have to put this issue to rest.
Objection!
Okay, apparently that was the right choice. Not yet. The defense still has an objection. Athena? Thought of something? Well, as I said, not yet.
Ow. So it's time for the legal smoke and mirrors?
Not yet, Athena. It's not yet time to quit. It's at times like these, when it seems like there's no way out, that you have to... Yeah, I have to turn the case upside down. Instead of focusing on whether Professor Means could have gone to the art room, I should focus on how he could commit the murder without going there.
It seems our young lady has a real bona fide idea. But I'll use any means necessary, even casting stones, if it'll distract her. Who brought the bird to school?
Sykes, dunno. If I hear one word of your usual jibba-jabba, I shall have your head. The murder occurred in the art room, yet the witness was on the stage. How do you propose to fill the vast gap between those two key facts?
Murder didn't actually happen in the art room? If I accept the premise that the professor was on the stage the entire time, the only other answer is that we got something else wrong. Wait, that's it. Every last one of us made a huge mistake. We were totally wrong about the crime scene. If Professor Means was on stage the entire time, then he must be the killer.
Ridiculous! The defense has become utterly incoherent.
Objection!
No, it's just the murder wasn't committed where we thought it was.
Continue, Sykes Dono.
Okay, the murder was actually committed here. Just click on the stage, I guess.
Take that!
The greatest riddle of this case has been how the body was moved from the art room. But if the murder occurred on the stage, that means the body was never moved at all.
Silly girl! When the body was found, there wasn't a drop of blood on the stage floor. Surely there would have been some blood if that's where the murder was committed.
There wasn't any blood on stage? Really? But there was something on stage at the time of the murder that's now bloodstained. Okay, I think it's actually this, but I think I have to present this.
Take that!
It's true, there were no bloodstains on the stage floor. There was something on the stage that did have a bloodstain, and that would be this school banner. No blood would have gotten on the floor if this were under the victim when she was killed.
Oh my! That's quite a compelling theory.
Silence!
What is it now? My theory makes perfect sense.
That was a pathetic attempt. You must put every inch of your body into your attacks. The autopsy states the cause of death was loss of blood. Yet only a trace amount was found upon that banner. Where did the rest go? Blood getting on there when the body was moved by wire makes more sense than not.
Very good, Simon. Now tell me, what's your first choice for higher education? I'll write you the ultimate in recommendation letters. You're all but guaranteed to get in.
Objection!
Actually, the defense has something to explain that as well.
You do?
If there was only a trace amount of blood on the school banner, then there must have been something else the killer used to soak up the blood. All I have to do is figure out what. This is what soaked up most of the victim's blood. I forgot that it actually showed this.
Wait, it looks like there's some other piece of fabric on top of the school banner.
It's the governor's banner that had been specially made for the school concert. Since it's on top of the school banner, the blood would have hit it first. It could have easily absorbed most of the blood, like a dishcloth. And only a small amount would have soaked through to the school banner below. So it makes total sense that the school banner only has a little bit of blood on it.
So that banner absorbed the blood like a dishcloth. Yeah, that would explain it.
The governor's banner was like a dishcloth? Surely it was at least towel quality.
Simon, don't just stand there, do something.
Silence.
Sykes-Dunno, you are learning to wield a blade quite well. But how will you respond when I come slashing at you like this? The remnant of a large bloodstain was detected in the art room. But why would there be blood there if the murder occurred on the stage as you claimed?
Objection!
The bloodstain in the art room was faked. How? I'll tell you how. All that was needed was something that could transport the blood upstairs. And that something was a piece of evidence we've just finished discussing. The killer used this to bring the victim's blood up to the art room. Well, they did say a small amount.
Take that!
The killer could have used this to transport the victim's blood.
You'll see. Care to explain how that would be possible?
Your Honor, nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it. Besides, all you need is... Okay. Chose the wrong banner.
Far-fetched arguments like that have no place in a court of law.
Well, it's worth a try.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I guess it really wasn't. The bloodstain in the art room was faked, how? Blah, blah, blah.
Take that!
To think you'd stoop so low as to present mere garbage to this court.
It's only garbage because someone tried to destroy it by tossing it in the incinerator. That someone was most likely the killer seeking to get rid of crucial evidence. The killer used the wire to bring the blood-soaked governor's banner up to the art room. Then the blood was wiped onto the floor to complete the ruse. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Without it. Order! Order! This is quite a development. To think the body was never actually moved. Hold it right there. The body must have been moved. How else do you explain that loud crash you heard during the mock trial? If it wasn't caused by the body crashing into the statues, then what was it?
Hadn't thought of that. That loud crash wasn't the body hitting the statues. Then what was it indeed? The knot in the school banner shows that something was carried along the wire in it. So if that's true, I know what I have to find. Something that was in the art room before the murder and then on the stage after. Yeah, they did. Yeah. The object that was sent down the wire to crash into the statues was... this.
Take that!
That statue!
Yes, I believe it was this statue that broke the other two, not Professor Quartz's body. The unique statue you see on the right, that's the pure white Lady of Justice from earlier. Professor Court accidentally broke it while she was polishing it the day before the mock trial. But she used her own unique artistic sense and technique to repair it, as you see here. Nobody would have guessed that it was originally Lady Justice.
Silence!
Perhaps you are onto something. But why, pray tell, would anyone move that scrap heap relic in such a tedious manner?
Excellent questions, Simon. Keep them coming.
You know why, but the fact that you won't acknowledge it shows how twisted you are. Lady Justice was moved during the mock trial. During that time, Professor Means was fabricating an alibi with his pre-recorded speech. If we consider the facts, then Lady Justice was moved in order to point us to the body. Professor Means used his pre-recorded speech to fake an alibi during the mock trial. He wanted to make it look like he couldn't possibly have moved the body. Moving Lady Justice was his way of pointing us to the body and cementing his alibi.
Ugh. That's quite a persuasive argument. For a while there, I thought you weren't taking the trial seriously. Well done.
You should never underestimate me, Athena Sykes. Professor Means always means what he says and says what he means by all means.
Fine then. Say it already. I'm waiting.
The murder occurred the night before, but the body wasn't found until late the next day. Countless students passed the stage till they met in the lecture hall for the mock trial. So answer me this. Why didn't anyone see the body that entire time?
That can be explained by,
If the victim was murdered on the stage and left there, the body would inevitably have been discovered. And of course, there was nowhere to hide a body up on that stage.
This is not good, Athena. Our claim is close to being beaten to a pulp. I know, but we've come so far.
Consider yourself schooled. I couldn't have possibly killed anyone. The killer is none other than Juniper Woods. It always has been, and it always will be.
Just wait a minute.
Poor Juniper. She must seriously regret having asked you to defend her. And to add insult to injury, you nearly had you convicted for murder. Surely, you haven't forgotten what that little fiasco. Not only did you fail to defend your client, you also raised false charges against her friend. You have no right to call yourself a lawyer.
Well then.
What if this trial proceeds in the same manner and ends in the same way as the mock trial? Would you not lose everything you've worked so hard to gain?
Well, I'll just have to make sure that doesn't happen then, won't I? Don't tell me I failed once again. Failed to save someone near and dear to me. I've worked so hard to become a lawyer and even study psychology. Has it all been for naught? Am I just doomed to relive that all over again?
Athena, what's wrong?
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Relax, Athena, breathe. It's not working. Everything's going dark. After all I've done, is this how it ends? Forgive me, Junie. I couldn't protect you like I said I would.
You leave Athena alone, man. She's the one who saved me.
It was because of Athena that I could stop hiding and start living my life as a girl again. And she saved the friendship between Hugh, Juniper, and I. I think you're an awesome lawyer, Athena. One of the best. But I raised false charges against Hugh. And that's not all. I've done some seriously unforgivable things.
What's the big deal? False charges are nothing to be scared of. And I'm not even mad at you. I should really be thanking you. You use legitimate means to expose my wrongdoings and give me a chance to re-examine what's important.
But what does it mean if I can't save Juniper? I mean, the whole reason I've come so far is... It's not over yet, Athena. Even now, at this very moment, I still believe in you. Junie, I know you better than most people, Athena. And I know you never surrendered to the dark age of the law like the professor did. Thank you, Junie, but I feel like I can barely breathe. I don't know what to do.
Silence!
Stop your bleating this instant. You look an utter fool.
Prosecutor Blackwell?
There's one who awaits you, is there not? And that is the reason you have studied so very hard. Are you prepared to give up on all you have worked for thus far? It would not do to have you disappoint you know who. You're wasting your time. You have nothing on me. No evidence or anything else to establish my guilt. You are helpless before the might of lawyers for whom the ends justify the means.
Objection!
Don't worry, Athena, you're doing fine. The truth will always win against people like him.
But Apollo, what am I supposed to do now?
Listen, all you have to do is take a deep breath and look back over the entire case. If there's truth to be found, and there always is, you're sure to find it. Now, let me see you smile. Remember what Mr. Wright said? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles.
Hey. Thanks, everyone. You don't have to worry about me now. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Athena Sykes is psyched and ready to rock. Prepare for your utter defeat.
Oh, we're doing this. Okay.
Professor Court wasn't killed in the art room. She was killed right where her body was found. We know because there wasn't any time to move the body there from somewhere else. That means the body had to have been hidden somewhere on stage until it was found. Let's think along these lines and see where it takes us. First up, when did Professor Means remove the body from his hiding place? Well, let's see. What was he doing right before the body was discovered? He was using the span of time his fake alibi created to move the body to where it would be more easily spotted. Therefore, the only time Professor Means could have removed the body from its hiding place is during the mock trial. It was during the mock trial, specifically during the speech. Professor Means moved the body to an easily seen location during his long pre-recorded speech. The professor also moved something to the stage that wasn't there before, specifically the white statue. During the mock trial, Professor Means wrapped the White Lady Justice in the school banner and sent it zipping down to the stage with a crash, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He drew attention to the body and made it look like the murder occurred in the art room. But was there anywhere to hide a body on that stage? It doesn't seem likely. No, there had to be someplace. Wait a second. How about something that should have been finished but was only mostly done? Something was used to cover the body up, but it didn't draw undue attention because it looked like it belonged there on stage. In that way, no one would suspect there was a body hidden inside. What was already on stage and capable of concealing the body? The right statue. The body was hidden by Wright statue. I know the Mr. Wright statue was never actually finished. The body was wrapped under some cloth to hide what was really inside, cleverly disguising it as the boss's statue. Ms. Newman gave up on the Wright statue, yet Professor Means finished it in a single night.
Yes, what an impressive feat that was.
Objection!
No, his so-called work of art deserves none of our praise. That's because it was only a facade to hide his real work, the murder of Professor Court.
Come again? I'm afraid I don't follow.
He hid the body by making it look like the statue of Mr. Wright. With the body wrapped under a piece of cloth, it looked just like a statue.
What?
I second that what?
Now this is getting interesting. No, this is getting preposterous. How would such a thing even be possible?
Objection!
We'll never know until we try.
Ow.
I think I know where this is going. Okay, Apollo, time to turn me into a reasonable likeness of Mr. Wright. I'm going to pose like the statue, like so. And now I want you to wrap me up in a cloth so I look like a statue. I hate to ask the obvious, but where am I supposed to get this magical cloth?
I'm afraid that isn't the right color, Mr. Justice.
Well, given how sudden the request was, it's kind of the best I could do, Your Honor. All right, I think that about does it. Well, what do you think, everyone? Do I look just like a statue of Mr. Wright or what? Yeah, it looks like some random person to me. Would the statue use a pair of busts? Phoenix Wright has that spiky hair on the back of his head. Forget the hair. The statue's head is way bigger than your average person's anyway. You gotta hand it to me for trying anyway. Wait, that's it. The hands. Her arms are raised over her head, and there are dark bruises around her wrists. Yeah, the professor was probably tied up with something. There it is. The marks on her wrists indicate she'd been tied up. Apollo, tie me up and then you pose. Wait, you're not into this kind of thing, are you? What? No! Besides, it was your idea. Just tell me how to tie your hands already. Professor Court's wrists were tied together, and I can't help but think that's related. How should I arrange myself to match the shape I want given her hands were tied?
Given her hands were tied. Head or back? Head.
Apollo tied both of my hands behind my head. See, this makes it possible to fake the spikes on the back of Mr. Wright's head.
Sure, but then what about the statue's arm? With both arms behind your head, you can't exactly complete the pose. Yeah, it'd be awfully hard to try to make the objection pose like this. Can't help but thinking you've forgotten something, Athena. Something on the body that you don't have right now.
What did the victim's body have that I don't?
Arrow? The book?
It's gotta be the arrow, right?
Take that!
Oh, right, there's an arrow sticking out of her side. Okay, Apollo, take that and plunge it into my side. What are you, crazy? Fine, then go get some duct tape. Rapido, schnell.
All right. No need to know the other languages to know bossy when I hear it.
The fatal arrow to the side. Spiky air created from two hands. A masterpiece in the making. Now, cover me with a cloth. But remember to make the arrow stand out, okay? Mommy, Dom's too short. Remember your indoor voice, dear.
Nobody's buying it. Arrow's nowhere near long enough.
But, what else could you use for the arm?
Still won't give up here. I must commend you, if only for your spirit and determination. Of course she's not giving up. After all she's put me through, she owes me an explanation, and one that makes sense. Now disappoint me again, and the penalty will be doubly painful.
Oh, crap.
I guess I better get it right this time. Think, Athena, think. Professor Court was murdered when she stopped by the stage to see Professor Means. If it wasn't premeditated, he must have used something close at hand in his little ruse. Apollo, show me those stage setup photos again.
Like that? Right now?
Okay, hold on. Please be in this photo. It just has to be.
Well, it's the staff.
The arm on the Mr. Wright statue is really this right here.
Oh boy, I hope this is right.
Take that!
Got it. I know what he used for the arm on the statue of Mr. Wright.
This is absurd. There is no such thing in this photo.
Don't play dumb with me, Professor. It's the staff you have right there.
Staff! This is the spear of a great legal warrior.
Whatever. Just hurry up and lend it to me. The length is perfect. Mr. Wright couldn't possibly object to such an awesome arm. Okay, go for it, Apollo. Sure, I'll give you arm and hand. Cloth and binding coming right up.
Objection!
There it is.
It's Phoenix Wright. Look, it's that famous lawyer.
That's definitely him. I'd know that pose anywhere.
We did it, didn't we?
Well, am I not the spitting image of the legendary Phoenix Wright? The man who will bring us out of these dark ages and into an era of brilliant golden light.
Golden light? All I see before me is the pink specter of a man.
That's just because Mr. Wright likes his statue. He's positively tickle pink. Get it, Apollo? He's tickle pink.
That joke deserves a pink slip.
It seems the gallery is quite impressed with the defense's sharp thinking. And the witness?
Bah! The resemblance is nothing more than a coincidence.
Objection!
Not so fast there, Buster. Unfortunately for you, I can prove my theory to be more than mere coincidence. To prove that this spear was thrust into the victim, all I have to do is...
Test the spear for blood?
We had assumed the victim's jagged wound came from the arrow being forcibly shoved in. But if the wound was from this spear instead, then we should be able to detect traces of the victim's blood on it.
Your Honor, a brief recess, if you will. By any means possible. What if I get rid of my spear? Wait, what if I burn it? If I do that, I'll be found innocent. Yes, I'm innocent, I tell you.
Objection!
Huh. Surely you don't expect us to take lectures from you now. Now I ask you in the gallery. Help me decide the professor's fate.
Ew.
Hang on. Prosecutor Blackwell, what has become of our witness, Aristotle Means?
It is as Sykes-Stono suspected. Blood was detected on his staff. Oh. He has admitted to this heinous crime. All of it. He shall join us in the clink tomorrow. His teaching skills can be put to good use there. Right, he'll teach felons that the end justifies the means. So much for rehabilitation.
Can I ask what the professor's motive was?
I could barely make out a word he said on account of his shattered teeth.
One of Blackwell's fellow inmates was once a surgeon. Why not a former dentist, too?
I eventually had him put pen to paper. It turns out Professor Means was the one taking bribes. The victim had suspected him after a report from the class snitch. That led her to question him at length the day of the killing, right there on that stage. The result, the heinous crime that was brought before this court. The fool, like Newman, had come to know of the script's contents via the victim's note. It seems he came up with a plan to stab the victim with her own awl in order to make the killing look like the one in the script and thus frame the defendant.
But that scrap of paper with Hugh's name had the same mark as Professor Court's planner.
Yes, about that. Those planners are bestowed upon all students graduating at the top of their class.
Really? So then...
Indeed. Once upon a time, Professor Means was also awarded the same notebook. The handwriting is being analyzed now, but like as not, the scrap belonged to him. That too is evidence of the bribery scheme that the victim had obtained. Know that Constance Court was clean and that only Aristotle Means took the bribes.
To think a professor would murder a colleague, then try to pin it on a student. If this is the dark age of the law, then we can only hope that a brighter future awaits. And the first step is to hand down my verdict for a promising young lady. This court finds the defendant, Juniper Woods, not guilty.
Yay!
So, did she just decide to quit law school or something?
I wish you all the best on your road to becoming a courtroom judge. We will need young people like you if we ever hope to restore the law to its former glory.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll work as hard as I can. Maybe one day I'll be able to work with all of you to make a difference.
Proudly serve Professor Court's memory. Do not let her death be in vain.
That's the last thing I expected to hear from him today.
Court is adjourned.
Or maybe they just chose not to mention it in the trial where we met her.
Okay. Thank you, Athena. I really mean it. There's nothing, really. I can take the biggest tangled mess of a case and unravel it just like that.
I don't know. You look pretty wound up there at the end, literally and figuratively.
You look pretty hungry for a knuckle sandwich, Buster. I wanted to thank you too, Apollo.
Don't mention it.
The way you were always there for Athena when she was in a bind. And at the detention center where your smile gave me hope when there was none.
There it is.
It was like the warm rays of the sun shining down on the peaceful woodlands. I think you're an absolutely amazing person.
Thanks, Juniper. That means a lot to me. But I still have lots of work to do, and I can't wait until we see you on the judge's bench.
I promise you I'll get there someday. That's why, until that day, I'll... Guys, I got some big news. I mean, this is huge. Oh, am I interrupting something? No, it's okay, I think. So what's the big news? The school festival that was supposed to have been canceled after what happened, but...
We just got a call. In memory of Professor Constance Court, who worked so hard to make it happen. The festival is being extended one extra day until tomorrow.
Really? All right.
We've got a special treat for all of you. A love letter for Themis Legal Academy. Achtung, baby. It's time for the Guitar Serenade.
Oh.
Wow, that was so much fun. School festivals are amazing. I think you and Robin are getting a little carried away. Ah, yes, your singing voice, Juniper. It can melt my H-E-A-R-T.
Mr. Wright, thank you for that training seminar. Just remember, the objection posed is all about attitude. Oh, and congratulations on your mock trial win. Although, Robin had you there for a while.
I did, didn't I? But I'm just glad we're back to how we used to be, thanks to Athena. And you know what? I think I'll stick with becoming a prosecutor after all. I'm going to make up for my mock trial loss by winning the real deals in court.
Mock trial loss? What loss? Wait, did they reprise the trial and Hugh won? Level-headed lawyer, course genius, and hot-blooded prosecutor, course student will go head-to-head in a mock trial battle for the She-Devil's Black Heart. So, does this mean it's really going to happen? Juniper, there's something I've been wanting to say to you. Huh?
Ooh, is he gonna do what I think he is?
Juniper, can we still be friends? You know, best friends, like we've always been?
Huh?
Best friends? Weren't you going to profess your love for Juniper if you won the mock trial? No, I was going to confess that I'm not a genius and that I'm really 25 years old. But you already dragged it on me during the trial.
Whoops. Listen, you too, Robin, Miriam. Me too?
Miriam's got this tactical espionage action stuff down to a science.
I've been thinking. It's up to us to put an end to the dark age of the law if we can. Let's all work together to usher in a new age where winning only results from the truth. And the end never justifies the means. Count me in.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Best friends forever, huh? No matter what anyone says, nothing beats true friendship.
You bet. And what about your BFF, Apollo?
Aren't you a bit old to be using that word? But yeah, he's the best friend a guy could have. Which reminds me, we're supposed to meet up and gossip about the new girl in the office.
Hey, no talking about me behind my back. So what kind of guy is he anyway?
Well, if I had to describe him in one word. And so, after some slight arm twisting, Apollo promised to bring me to meet his friend. Unfortunately, that promise was never meant to be fulfilled. For not long after, their friendship was mercilessly severed by fate. And the bonds between us began to fray and unravel as well. Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence. Even now, those words continue to ring in my ears. The discord in our ever-cheerful Apollo's voice made him sound so cold and distant. Why, Apollo? Why? Why would you leave us all behind? Oh, the end. Do the outro. So, handwriting didn't match after all. Well, I got the important stuff right at least. The murder taking place where the body was found took me completely by surprise though. Also, the American VA for Clavier wasn't doing an accent, so I don't feel so bad for not giving him a German accent now. Anywho, apparently I was supposed to play the DLC case before I played this one. I was just using the Steam version's continue to the next episode feature, but I have been informed that I absolutely must play the DLC episode before the next case to keep the timeline from becoming even more wonky, so I guess I'll be doing that next. In the meantime, up here's a playlist of my Persona 3 Portable playthrough, and down here's a video that YouTube recommends. Also, if you'd like to help support a fuzzy little monster and get videos a week early, we have channel memberships for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!